we're building a country-sized economy on the basis of free, of giving things away free to consumers. This is an economy based on a price of $0.00. There's basically four kinds of free. Some of them are old forms of free that we've modified into a new age, and some of them are entirely new kinds of free. The first form of free is the classic razor and blade subsidy. You give away one thing to sell another. No new form of economics. You know, the underlying cost of manufacturing razors and blades or cell phones and, you know, and infrastructure, which turns to minutes, is pretty much what it is. But you just move the money around so that one thing feels free and invokes the psychology of free, the sort of compelling price of zero, to sell something else. The second form of free is also hundreds of years old, and that's the media business model. This is where you have three parties. You've got a producer, you've got a consumer, and then you've got a third party, the advertiser, who subsidizes a product so that it's free to the consumer. Radio is free to air. Television is free to air. All of our websites are free. And that's because the money goes like this. The advertiser pays us to make it free to the consumer, and the consumer buys the products from the advertiser, and the money goes back, and the flow goes full circle. The third form of free is a new form that's really only existed in the last 5 years or so, and this is a form that's only possible in digital markets. Now, what's unique about a digital market, as opposed to the other markets that we've talked about, is that the marginal cost, the incremental cost of providing a goods or service to somebody is close to zero. And not only is it close to zero, but it gets closer to zero every day. The fourth form of free is also one that's really sort of come of age in the digital economy. And this is the so-called gift economy. This is a non-monetary economy. Now, we've had gift economies forever. You know, the classic South Pacific Islanders, you know, would give each other things because the food grew on the trees and you didn't have scarcity. You're basically, your first two levels in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs are completely, you know, provided for by nature. And so you could, you know, give each other beads for social glue, etc. You know, in businesses, we have, you know, huge swaths of the internet are driven by people giving things away. Wikipedia, the blogosphere, you know, all these MySpace, Facebook profiles, etc. They're all basically content created for free and given for free for some other reason. And what is that other reason? These are the non-monetary economies: the reputation, attention, expression. These things turn out to be sufficiently incentivizing for people to do what we used to have to pay them for. So there's still economies in the sense that you're building something of value, but it counts as zero in the monetary economy. And so it is technically free, even though it's still something that's valued. However, for digital products, you do just the opposite. You'll give away 90% of your product to sell 10%. That's why it's called freemium. You give away the free version to charge a tiny fraction of your audience for the premium version. I'll see lots of industries are now taking this. You see it in things like Flickr and Flickr Pro. But you know, the video game industry is moving from one of packaged software, which was a game in a box for $50 in a store, to the online. As the game industry moves online, it starts to become free, which is to say, you know, Second Life. It's free. The game, it's a game, you can call it a game. It's free. If you really like it, you might want to buy land. If you buy land, then you become the premium in the freemium equation. And maybe, you know, a few percent of the Second Life participants will buy land, but they'll subsidize everybody else because the marginal cost of serving the 90+% who free ride is so low that you can round down to zero. In a competitive market, price falls to the marginal cost, and you realize that everything online is almost, you know, required by the laws of economic gravity to fall to zero. So that's kind of frightening. What that says is that everything online will be priced at zero. Now, let me just take a little of the fear out of that sentence. That doesn't mean that everything online will only be priced at zero. It means there will be a free version of everything online. Your opportunity, so what that tells every company is that if what you do can be moved online, it will be moved online at the price of zero. Now, you can either compete with zero, which can be done. Microsoft has been competing with open source software for a long time. It can be done. You offer a different product, a superior product, a premium product, etc. Or you can offer your product for zero and sell something else. Also, very doable. That's what we do. We charge for our magazine, but we give it away online and we sell the attention that comes with that. So the winners and losers, every company is going to, in every industry is going to have to compete with free, sooner or later. They're either going to become free or they're going to compete with free. The companies that will succeed are going to be the ones who embrace that, who sort of say, well, I'm going to get to free first, and then I'm going to figure out some way to make money around free, solve for, you know, the kind of a premium version, or maybe I'll use advertising, or maybe you know, take open source software in particular. Why do people pay for open source software? Well, it turns out that they want a number they can call who will support them. So, you know, what you get with your check is a contract. You get a legal contract. And that means that the guy at the other side of this check is required to help you and to answer the phone. That's worth paying for. Companies want to pay for their software because they want the contractual promise that someone will be there to help them in the end. So you can compete with free. It's very easy to compete with free. You just got to think different. Never in human history have we seen a country-sized economy where the underlying driving force was not monetary, but instead non-monetary forces, reputation, attention, etc. And yet this economy is making plenty of people rich and providing you know, healthy revenue flows for lots of companies. So this paradox of an economy built on free that is nevertheless one that you can make money in is the central question of the book. Are there really economies? You know, can you treat them like money? Is there a money supply of reputation and attention? There's an Alan Greenspan of reputation and attention. You know, is it really analogous? I think there is. I'm not sure. You know, we're still trying to figure out exactly how to measure it. But let me give you some you know, starting perspectives. The core of the reputation and attention economy is Google, because that's how we convert the two. So we to just throw out some units, we measure attention online in terms of traffic. Just how many page views do you get? And then we monetize that traffic by putting advertising up against it. And so we know what our CPM is. And so we could sort of say, so, you know, the conversion rate between attention and reputation is $20 per thousand. Okay? There. You just got a conversion rate. That's like the conversion between euros and dollars. We now have conversions between attention units and dollar units. 20 CPM, 5 CPM, you know, it depends on your sector, but we do have conversion rate. Okay, that's pretty easy. Now let's do reputation. What's the unit of reputation? Once again, Google comes to our aid. We have PageRank. So my PageRank of, let's say, one of my sites is 6. 6 is determined by how many incoming links. In other words, the collective, you know, opinion out there, all those other people who you know, chose what to link to, enough of them have linked to me that my PageRank has gone to 6 out of a scale of 10, which means I've got a pretty good reputation. So what do I do with that? Well, that means that my site is going to come up pretty high on search results. So if you Google my site, it'll come up on the first page, and that means I'll get lots of traffic via search. And remember, that traffic, we already know how to convert that to money via advertising. So now we have a direct conversion. So reputation is measured by incoming links, which we quantify in PageRank. PageRank turns into higher results in organic search, and our higher results in organic search turns into traffic. We turn traffic into money through ads. So there we basically mapped reputation, attention, and monetary economies along a continuum, and we have conversion rates for each. People say all the time print is dead, but I ask, which print do you mean? Do you mean newsprint, newspapers? Do you mean news weeklies? Do you mean monthly magazines? Do you mean books? Do you mean free local weeklies? Do you mean regionals, you know, etc.? Some print is in upheaval, others is not. Others are not. Newspapers obviously are in upheaval. Traditional newspapers in physical form are seeing disruption in their business model. It turns out that they're a value subtract industry. They give you the news 18 hours late and they leave ink on your fingers. What newspapers do is also, of course, just the reporting and synthesizing of news, which they can distribute in many ways, including their websites. That's fine. There's lots of demand for, you know, the act of news, you know, collection and synthesis. It turns out that this particular delivery mechanism of putting it on dead trees is not necessarily what the world wants. Then you have you know, weekly news magazines. Tough spot. You know, again, you're competing with the internet. It's hard to add value on that kind of short time span. Then you've got the world we're in, which is monthly magazines, which tend to be very visual. You know, the Vogues, the Glamours, the Vanity Fairs, the Wireds, etc. We're doing great. Turns out that we do something the internet doesn't do well, which is, design and photography and this sort of, lavish visual experience and immersive in 8,000 word articles, etc. No one wants to read 8,000 words on a screen. No, the photography turns into thumbnails. The design is completely lost, etc. So the notion of a kind of a visual immersive, deep medium still makes sense in an internet age, which is really about sort of immediacy and superficiality, or at least broad but not necessarily deep. Then you have books. Books also make sense in an internet age because they offer depth, whereas the internet offers breadth. So when people say print is dead, I always say, which print do you mean?